hate the way you never show your face, fabricating stories in your brain. The J-Love is a drug, but I'm not feeling it. Please don't touch my hair. Who got a bobby pin? I just quit my job. Let's do a party. Yeah. You think I'm the one? I'm so naughty for she got a tight butt. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite. I don't think my mama wants to listen when I'm rapping about faces and who I'm sleeping with. Howling at the moon, 'cause she a lunatic. Hallucinating, my bony body is breaking. I'm hungry for a feeling that'll never be enough. Insatiable.
Welcome back, guys, to Canadian Tea Season 4, Episode 3 with Blake Mathews.
Welcome.
Welcome, sir.
Hello. Hi, Isabel. What's up, Kay? Thank you guys for having me. My name is Blake.
You want to give a little intro to
Yeah.
who you are, what you do, for those who don't know of you yet?
Sure. Yeah, so my name is Blake Mathews. I live in Phoenix, Arizona in the USA. I am a recording artist, record producer, and just really I'm a human when it comes down to it. One of my core values is inspiration, because when you look at the etymology of the word inspiration, it actually breaks down to divine guidance. The Greek etymology traces back to divine guidance, or to be in spirit, to be inspired. So I tend to lean more towards inspiration when it comes to like identity, even because I think that inspiration like actually leads us to discovering more about who we are as people, and in my case as an artist and a producer. So I'm Blake, and yeah, I'm excited to be here with you guys.
Awesome.
We're excited to have you. Sorry, Chris.
No worries. So yeah, I kind of got introduced to you through kind of like the Nashville scene, and we have some mutual friends, Eddie and like the dudes with Paid Vacay. And so we were just curious, when did you move to Nashville, and like what made you go there specifically?
I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, the fall of 2014. I attended school out there, college. I actually studied general business and entertainment with a focus in audio production. So that was my motivation for moving to Nashville, was to pursue, training and just to get experience in the music industry, to launch myself into a new place. The best things have come from me through challenging myself to move to new places or try new things. So that's why I went, and I found so much more. So yeah, I moved in 2014, lived out in Nashville, Tennessee for about 5 years. And in those 5 years, I spent most of my time, meeting other songwriters and developing my craft as a songwriter. Nashville is just an amazing place for doing that type of thing. There's a lot of great, writers out there. Hosted events. I love giving other artists the chance to share their work. I think sharing our voice and having a platform to do that is really important. So I did a lot of event production out in Nashville. And then, yeah, upon graduating college and just kind of looking for what the next step was for me, I returned back to Phoenix, Arizona. So that's where I'm currently based, in my home studio here in Phoenix.
That's cool.
Love to hear that. Yeah, we've heard amazing things, about Nashville, and I definitely, was trying to get out there. COVID happened, but it is what it is, but it'll happen when it's supposed to, right? So
What's meant to be will be.
Yes.
Okay, Sarah.
For sure. So yeah, you also I just, kind of also being introduced, we kind of got acquainted through like poetry and like other forms of art and painting, which is super awesome. And you're not only an artist, but a producer, and you're influenced by like, I would say, an array of music. Like, so we wanted to know what 5 records you couldn't live without.
Wow, it's so generous of you to give me 5. Usually I put Mast. You say you're on a deserted island and you have to listen to one song for the rest of your life.
No.
One song. But so thank you. Yeah. Okay, so the first song actually goes back to my roots. The first song that I just couldn't live without is called Sunshine by a hip hop group called Atmosphere. And it's really the premise of the song is about this guy that has a hangover and he's just waking up and like stumbling outside, realizing that life is actually really beautiful, even though he feels terrible. And it just was kind of like a staple for me throughout my youth as I started to discover hip hop as a young teenager. So Sunshine by Atmosphere. The second song,
It's always, people get stumped on sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It's like I don't even want to I don't want to go look at my Spotify library because I feel like there's like Sunshine I pulled from an era like before we were even listening on streaming services, like that was when I had like on my iPad. So I'm like thinking back to the really important songs to me like that rather than, and then I'll throw one or two in from like modern era. But actually, do you guys know the band the 1975? Have you listened to them?
Of course. Bella knows I love them so much.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, I have their vinyls as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, Maddie is everything.
Oh yeah, for sure. I saw them twice. The first time I saw them was 2014. And he like tried, it was like a smaller venue and he was just like smoking and drinking, and they're like, the city was like, you can't do that in like an indoor venue. So like next time you come here, you have to be outdoors. So that's what they did. They literally like did it at a park the next time. And I was obviously there, and it was at the time of my life. I love them so much. Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, thank you. Yo, at the bow. Shout out Island.
Yes.
I actually, funny enough, also saw them outside in an amphitheater.
Okay.
I think that was maybe just their thing once they were starting to go through this type of thing. I'm sure they like to be outside anyway, and they're just those types of like free spirits,
Yeah.
So they had a song from you know what? Actually, funny enough, it's not of the 1975 song. I meant to say Phoenix. Do you guys know the band?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
And they're like classic song, like Listomania.
Okay.
Okay, so that song I loaded onto my iPod when I traveled overseas to Israel, actually.
Wow.
This was like 2012 or something. Like I was a youngster. I think I must have been 7th or 8th grade at this point. But somehow, actually, this is very ironic considering like the whole what song, if you could only listen to one song for the rest of your life, like I got stuck on my trip having only loaded that one song onto my iPod, the Listomania song. And I didn't have a computer or anything. Like I just, I went overseas. All I brought was my iPod and my charger. So I only had the song Phoenix by Listomania for, it was like a month trip. I think I was there for like 3 or 4 weeks. So, and that was me and my sister's sort of song at this one point. Like we just loved jamming to that song. So I was stuck with it in Israel and it wasn't so bad. Like I actually didn't get sick of it and I still don't. So Listomania. If you can't tell, I love to talk. So
you also just, I do love that song, but I love the album that it's on as well, like Wolfgang Amadeus. Great album. But I think Phoenix's like discography is super cool. But
that's what's up. I love that you love that album. And I'd also like to comment on the cover art, the album art of that album. Yeah. I love like the pastel kind of pinks, and honestly, I want to pull it up right now just so I can comment on it a little bit more. But if I remember properly, there's some sort of a like rocket being launched on it, or so. I feel like it's a drawing.
It's like the red and blue ones. But okay, I think they always have like interesting like covers, like even like the cover art for Bankrupt, it's like a peach.
Oh, I'm trying to remember which one that is, but I take your word for it. Yeah, like they totally they conceptualize their covers. You can tell there's intention behind it.
For sure.
And I love that. So, okay. The third song, let's see, would be, I think it would be Satisfaction by Mick Jagger.
Okay, classic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna say too much about that one other than my pops is like a big Jagger and Stones fan, and I totally feel like I just channel like Mitch Jagger in various moments of my life. Like I almost feel like his spirit's in me, even though he's still alive. Like that's weird.
No, that's fair.
Same with Freddie Mercury. Like I love
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna throw a song of his on here, but I love those guys. Okay, and then so Satisfaction. So now I'm gonna go like somewhat recent and modern, with MGK. Probably the song "Drunk Face" off of "Tickets to My Downfall."
Okay.
Yeah, that song, while it probably isn't the best thing for me as far as my self-control and me working on recovery and addiction, because that song is fairly enabling.
Right.
Honestly, a lot of MGK's music, I love it, and he's one of my top 3 favorite artists. But it definitely like triggers and stimulates some of my shadows that, you know, I'm working on. I'm working to be more of a healthy person that like, you know, honestly is living clean, from drugs and alcohol in a reasonable way. Like sometimes I may have a glass of wine, even though that's not really my thing. But as an artist that's like in the scene, I'm surrounded by, you know, people that are altering their minds and bodies, you know, with drugs and alcohol, and it's like a fairly common thing in our society. So I guess I don't know how I went down this rabbit hole, but I will say that "Drunk Face" by MGK, it goes, he goes, "I'm still young, wasted my youth. I'll grow up next summer. I'm back on those drugs I quit. I kept my dealer's number. I'm still young." So he just is, it's like an anthem that came out during summer, and he just says, "I'm back on those drugs. Like I kept my dealer's number." Like, and it's just, but it's just one of my favorite songs. So I have to practice like mindfulness and self-control and remembering that art is actually a tool, and it's like a blessing that we have to be able to channel our urges and our desires and like the things that maybe are vices for me. Like I tend to try to channel those things into my art so that they don't like control my life. You know, I think it's about becoming aware of those unconscious like urges that we're having and making them more conscious so that we can, you know, get it out of our system, literally. So that's what that song is for me. It kind of helps me get some of that angsty punk, addict energy out. So that song "Drunk" by MGK. And then my number one,
Yeah, I wanted to also just like comment on the whole like recovery and like I too like think that like MGK stuff can be like, you know, triggering. I also love Youngblood. His stuff is just very honest. Love that energy though. And like the album Weird for me was like kind of life changing. Like I preach that album all the time. Like I just love it. Like I want a tattoo like dedicated to that album. It's like I don't know. So, but like I think that's what makes like good like punk rock slash like, you know, rock like in general. I think that's what it is. Just they're just anthems for people that just want to like cry out loud, and it's just like healthy. So yeah. And
well said. Please continue. I'm listening. I'm loving this.
oh, no worries. So yeah, you're just, I feel like you do so much, and like with your music, it's like very woke, and like obviously like I love the song What They Don't Know. Want to use that for my short film as the credit song, like we spoke about a while back. And you also work with Juju Stone and y'all have the band Vampire Citizen. And so we wanted to know, how did you guys meet and how was that band kind of conceptualized? Or group, I guess.
Sure. So Juju Stone and I met um young, actually. We met when we were teenagers through, I think it was through a summer camp slash through our mutual friend Blue Nose.
Well, yeah. We had
Yeah, okay.
We were not friends as kids. Like, we were not friends at all. We like barely knew of each other.
Okay.
I don't know. We're just kind of in some of the same groups. Um, and then years later, when I was living in Australia, this was 2017. Juju Stone happened to be in Australia at the same time as me. He was visiting some of his relatives who live overseas there. And Blue Nose set us up. He was like, you guys need to get together. Da da da. And so we met. We ended up writing a song, actually. The first time that we really hung out, we wrote a song. I'm trying to remember. It's like part of it went, I might be going insane, but that's okay. Cause sane and insane are the same damn thing. I might be going insane, but that's okay. Cause sane and insane are the same damn thing. So it was, yeah, but he had a really amazing, I don't know, we just found some chemistry there, you know, and the first time we ever met, and that was in Australia. So after that, we actually didn't see each other or talk very much, honestly, funny enough, for like 2 or 3 years. We kind of went and did our own thing. I was still living in Nashville. Um, we talked occasionally when he like would reach out to collaborate, like he wanted to feature me on Feel This with Wade Coda, and Blue Nose was on that song as well. His sister sang on it. That song was like an amazing song that ended up bringing a lot of us together around all various different parts of the country. Feel This, I think he made he reached out to me in 2019 when I was still living in Nashville, and I actually laid my verse and did some of the production like when I was still living out there. So anyway, that was kind of the next step. So we met in Australia, then we collaborated on Feel This, which is on all the streaming platforms. And then upon me returning to Phoenix, we were now in the same city for the first time in years. And we started chilling in the friend group with Blue Nose. And then we actually ended up moving into the same house together. We decided that like we had a little songwriting partnership going. We started writing on a more structured basis. Trying it out to see if it was something that would really work for us. So then we ended up moving into the same house together, and Vampire Citizen was conceived in that house. It was in Scottsdale, Arizona in July of 2020. We put our first record out. First single, I should say. We're still working on the first record that has not come out. But Vampire Citizen started as a song. Like everything starts as a seed, and the concept of Vampire Citizen began with a song. And eventually I realized that Vampire Citizen meant too much to me. The idea and the concept for the song, it meant a lot. And I felt like there was more to be discovered there than just like the one song that was written, you know? The vampire is the part of us that we tend to hide. You know, we've suppressed our expression in that area, typically, you know, through the influence or direction of other people in our lives who have told us no. So the vampire is that part of ourselves. The citizen is the part of us that's challenged to show up in the world and to fit in and make something of ourselves. So the band and the concept of it is really motivated by, you know, encouraging the vampire to step out into the sunshine, even though it's kind of like, you know, that's what kills the vampire, but that's how we transform ourselves. So the Vampire Citizen brand, Juju and I came together and decided that was something we wanted to do. And yeah, ever since I'm now a part of a new project. It's interesting having multiple projects on your plate, but it's just something that Juju and I are trying to keep open as an outlet for us and anyone that we, you know, meet that maybe would be a good fit for channeling themselves in Vampire Citizen as well.
It's very cool.
So yeah, for sure. I feel like there's just like, I don't know, you kind of dip your toes on a lot of things, which is like super awesome. You know, you have music with, you know, with Juju, and then with Blue, obviously, you guys are, you know, like quite close friends. And also like an artist that I also got introduced was Janae the artist. She's super awesome. I mean, it is Wednesday, so shout out on Wednesday, wear pink. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I just
Yes.
oh yeah, for sure. But getting into like just working with other artists, I guess, like
Yeah. Do you want me to ask?
yeah, no, you go.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could collab with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Good question.
Yeah, it's a hard one for sure.
A little. Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna say the same thing that Blue Nose said. I'm like having a vague memory of him. Did he answer Travis Barker to this
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Okay, so I think I'm on the same energy.
Mm-hmm.
That I think it would make a great like three-way collab. I think we've always imagined like, you know, when we collaborate with someone like Travis Barker, like we're gonna be in the same room as each other. But honestly, actually, on a you know, not a more real level, but on a secondary level, like I would love to collaborate with these couple guys that we met out in LA. One of them is named Drew DeCaro. He spells his name DRU though. It's like super dope. But he goes by
Different. I like it.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah. So Drew DeCaro, he goes by Falconry, and he recently played on MGK's Tickets to My Downfall album. It was obviously one of my favorite albums of the summer. And yeah, so we actually, Juju and I went to LA we went to meet up with our friend Pink Slip, and just chill and write some songs and whatever. And we pulled up to our Airbnb, and this guy was standing outside of this really tall looking glass door that had like super big windows, but they were like frosted, I think, like where you can't really see through them. It looks like frosted glass, but there was lights and you could see like shadows of palm trees like on the back, like through the window. And I don't know, it was such a vibe. And this is just directly at the spot that we pulled up for our Airbnb, which our Airbnb is this like rickety like motel that is like attached to the bottom level of this place that this guy's standing out, that just like, it looked like a palace from the outside, but you couldn't really see inside. And then the motel, you can imagine, is like attached to this same thing. So it's like a paradox here. We're starting to bring some of our stuff up, and then we just start chatting with the guy. His name's Adam. He goes by Snake, and he ended up inviting us inside. Juju checked it out. I actually ended up going out upstairs, and I didn't check it out at that point. But the next day, we were just skating back to the place, and we pulled up, and Snake was outside again. This was the following day, and he was outside with Drew. And so we just met, like Juju and I sent Drew Crazy Times in California, because that had just come out, the first Vampire Citizen single. And like we just felt like, and honestly I still do feel like, collaborating with Drew specifically for Vampire Citizen would breed like a really amazing song that would like help us and a lot of other people, because Drew's already kind of like, he's so versatile. He plays guitar and just is a great writer from everything I've seen and heard from him. But he had just played on MGK's album, and I love that kind of punk energy that we're doing with Vampire Citizen when we want to. So yeah, I would say he's my guy. I would love to collab with Falconry. I'm shouting that out right here. So yeah, Falconry, the ball's in your court, my G. Like Mathews in Phoenix, let me know.
Yes, say it. Speak it into existence. and
I was
Matt.
literally about to say that.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. So yeah, I know it's like not your artist name or like you don't use it that much anymore, but I remember watching what's it called? Like I don't even it was like the video behind the scenes for like First Day for Eddie Island song. You were in the video. Anyways, I got introduced to you and you went by Humble Savage. And so I wanted to know where that came from.
Sure. Man, you really are an OG real one. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey, I don't know. Like I just met a bunch of cool people. So like to know like facts and like behind I don't know.
It's history. That's what's
Yeah.
up. I appreciate you bringing it up. So, Humble Savage is an alias of mine. I have many personalities that all seem to be hanging from the ceiling like fucking monkeys, pardon my French. And they all show up at various times whenever they want to or whenever they need to be heard. You know, we say everyone needs to be heard. Humble Savage he's the fullest, wholest like expression of me. He is my guide. Like if you talk about you know, the narrative of a hero, like the hero's journey, you know, like we're all the hero of our own journey and we're being faced with obstacles and trials and tribulations, and our goal is to triumph and to, you know, win in our lives. So Humble Savage is the guide to my hero. Like every great hero has a guide. They meet Yoda. You know what I'm saying? Humble Savage is the equivalent to Yoda. You know what I'm saying? Blake Mathews is Luke Skywalker. Humble Savage is Yoda. So these are two different parts of me. And Blake is kind of like, you know, the misfit in me that's finding his way. And Humble Savage is my higher self. He's the part of me that, you know, is teaching me to be humble when appropriate, but savage when necessary.
That's an amazing answer.
Very.
Yeah, I love that. So profound. But like, I don't know. I just feel like very much like you're very much a talented writer, just like a wordsmith, you know, if you will. I feel like, which is great. But yeah, talking about, you know, your different sides of your artistry and your songs, what would you say is your favorite song that you've released or produced so far, and why?
Wow, great question. I'm looking at this huge whiteboard full of songs I haven't released yet.
Okay.
So man, that's such a hard question. My favorite song that I've released is probably actually it's called Block Party. It's a Vampire Citizen song that we recently put out. That song was kind of made in celebration for a big, you know, like milestone in my life. There's a part of the song that's actually unreleased. It's like, I think I'm going to put it on a deluxe version or something. It's like a 15 to 20 second intro to the song. It's more of like a skit.
Okay.
So it just reveals a little bit more about like the nature and the history of the song and why Block Party was like so special to me. So yeah, if you haven't heard it, I'm sure you already have, but I still encourage bang that song out. For anyone who might be watching this, go look up Block Party by Vampire Citizen. It's on all streaming platforms. It's just a bop. It's a bop.
So, won't regret it.
Oh yeah.
You won't regret
it is. It's like it was very much like, because I mean, like in Canada we have like, you know, kind of chilly autumns and like very, very cold winters. And so like, you know, still having decent weather now, it's like very much like, you know, summer energy for us. So it was a great track to like just like, you know, board down the street or scooter or whatever, hang out. I'm into Vespas now. It's like very European, but like I'm obsessed with Vespas. Like my new I don't know. even though I got knocked out cold, but I survived, and I still am obsessed with like buying a Vespa, even though like I can't ride it 6 months of the year. It's okay. Like I'll figure it out. But yeah, super dope song for real, for real. Um, getting back to your you know, advocating for, mental illnesses, mental health, healing. How does your music help with your healing and recovery journey? And what do you kind of want people to like get from that, from your work, I guess?
Music and art, and whether even if it's photography or poetry, all of the forms of expression that we participate in, I think are an opportunity for what I call sublimation. And sublimation is just the process of channeling something that we're experiencing internally and transmuting that energy, transforming it and channeling it into something that lives outside of us. So in my case, a lot of the times I'm sublimating and I'm transforming my addiction and my experience of depression or anxiety. I'm writing about that, and I'm trying to just push my emotions into the music so that those emotions have a place to live outside of my own heart. So we're not neglecting our emotions. Art, I think, is a tool for us to be able to face our emotions and to grow through our emotions through feeling them. So I hope that you guys and anyone who listens to my work will feel something and will relate to and identify with some of the struggles that I'm facing. I try to be as open and honest as I can about, facing depression. And that's something I've struggled with for a long time. And if you listen to my music, I talk a lot about like, being on and off meds, various meds that doctors have prescribed me over the years, and trying to figure out like what the proper, common like prescription is to get my mental health right. And there's a lot of people in my community that champion, natural medicine and more of like an herbal approach to managing mental health. There's a lot of people that encourage the pharmaceutical route. And so, yeah, I mean, the music is just a natural medicine, honestly. So I hope people will see my music and just music in general and art as a natural medicine that they can use to heal as well. And anyways, additionally, I hope to inspire people to recover, because recovery is not about sobriety. Recovery is not sobriety. Recovery is more than that. Recovery, if you just look at the definition of the word, is returning to a whole and healthy state of mind and body. Who wouldn't want that? I want that for everyone. So yeah, I hope my music inspires people to recover from whatever it is that they're healing from.
I mean, yeah, you can only hope, right? I think that like that's, for me, that's what art does. It just like music or painting or like poetry or like
just any
whatever.
form.
It's like literally like it's such a large part of who I am, and I know like so many others. It's like if I didn't have art, it's like, damn, like what would I be up to?
Honestly.
So, and that's one of the beauties of songwriting too, and just like even just like spoken word poetry, or like journaling. Like simple people are like, oh, I can't write. It's not like journaling is just, there's so many like you said, like what are the remedies, quote unquote, like medication or not, like you go see a naturopath, or like I just think like, yeah, sobriety could be a huge part in that, but it's not even just that. It's like you can be like sober and still be like struggling immensely, so it's a part of it. But like also I feel like people have different definitions, of what I was just reading, like I don't know, something on Instagram, like people's definition of what sober means, because like, some people it's like oh, I was addicted to, let's say, like heroin, but I still smoke like cigarettes, or like drink alcohol. So it's like sober from one thing is that ultimately sober, but it's a different definition for someone who's like completely clean. Um, so anyways, that being said, um, we want to like, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule.
And being on the show.
Super awesome. Been wanting to have you for a while. We've been upping to your tunes. We've been like, keeping up with the Joneses, as they say, with like regards to your music and everything. And like, I don't know, you just like post very insightful things on social media. So keep tabs with that. I remember like the first time I was getting into more like spirituality. This was like a couple years back. And like you had posted something like, I was an event like I think it was like just an outdoor event in like Nashville a couple years ago, like I said, and you were like, oh, just appreciating the moon or something like that.
Mm.
And I was like, that's so interesting. Like, who is this person? You know what I mean? I saw like we were in a group chat. It was like I don't know, group chat with Eddie and like some fans. Like it was just like an island time group chat thing, like briefly. Anyways, that's how I kind of got to know you, and then that whole thing, and it was super interesting. And then like the poetry exchange that we had, just just a lovely human. So thank you for being you.
Thank you. What an amazing, amazing statement. I just want to acknowledge that first poem that I ever received from you. I think I was sitting like in my car in a parking lot at like literally at like 5:30 a.m., like getting ready to go into my job at Sherwin-Williams. And yeah, it like blew me away, dude. It was like it was definitely a piece on mental health and more, like inspired by that. Like that's just case A, like right there, of like partnering with poetry to like work through like some of the emotions and visions and like feelings that you felt. And yeah, I won't get too far into the weeds as far as the specifics of the poem, but I would
Oh
just
no, it's all good. Like it was very
it was gonna step into traffic, right?
yeah, it was
Okay,
literally
go.
based on my mental illness and like struggling with like suicidal depression, and like that like imagery was literally like just like a moment in time of my life, like just captured in like a poem.
Have I read this one?
Yeah, you definitely have. It's in my
Okay.
poetry book, the Do You Die with the Same Eyes You Had When You Were Alive book there with like
yeah, okay.
with all the poetry and prose. You definitely, I wrote it like several years ago. Yeah. I had just written it like maybe a couple weeks before I'd sent it to you, Blake. It was very fresh.
Yeah,
I
remember that.
But yeah, thank you so much for,
taking your time.
And we will definitely speak soon. But yeah, have a great rest of your evening.
Thanks. You guys too. Stay warm.
Yeah.
For sure. Bye now.
Bye.